be gradually exploring this particular song of Milarepa called The Shepherd's Search for Mind. And hopefully we're going to be building a bit of momentum towards the end of the evening, when we are going to be finishing the evening with a sit, a meditation sit. Just going to put the view in gallery for this, the benefit of us here in the shrine, so we can see you online. And when I'm doing the exploration, I'm probably going to focus more on the people that are here in the shrine. So, but just want to acknowledge that you are there online. And what we are going to be doing tonight is a bit of a practice of reflection, a practice of considering, pondering a bit certain things, certain questions. So I'll encourage you. We have a couple of glasses here with some pens of different colors. So if you can grab some paper and pens at home, yeah, we'll be using them later on in the evening. Yeah, so we have already, as in the blurb that we sent around promoting this evening, we have already explored the figure of Milarepa. So I'm not going to be introducing Milarepa tonight, but I just want to mention these two talks that were given at the beginning of the year, one by Kusala Devi, I think both of them in January actually. One by Kusala Devi called The Song of the Yogi's Joy, and another one by Bodhinaya called How to Live and Die Without Regret. They are in our YouTube channel, so if you feel interested, of exploring a bit more the figure of Milarepa, if you haven't yet come across Milarepa, you can refer back to those two talks. So I'm going to pretty much go straight into the Shepherd's Search for Mind tonight. But I just want to say sort of a bit of in a way, a kind of a preamble. Milarepa is a very important teacher, yeah, for many Buddhists around the world, especially those who practice within the umbrella of the Vajrayana Buddhism, the later development of Vajrayana Buddhism. Triratna, this movement that the Nottingham Buddhist Center belongs to, is a bit more eclectic than that. Yeah? So we don't necessarily focus on one particular tradition, but it's important to say that I think that Milarepa is apart from the Buddha himself, the historical Buddha, is the teacher that Bhante Sangharachita explored more deeply. Yeah? So he dedicated a lot of seminars to explore the songs of Milarepa. So I think Milarepa probably has influenced a lot the way Bhante Sangharachita thought the Dharma should be communicated and practiced within our tradition. Yeah? So it's very important, even more than figures, mythical figures like the 5 Jinas, the 5 Buddhas, or Padmasambhava, which is quite influential as well. But I think Milarepa, in terms of his teachings, is worthy to look at what he actually taught. Yeah? And this song, The Shepherd's Search for Mind, is a song. Bhante explored this song with a companion short song, where sort of a bit of a preamble as well to this, where Milarepa goes to this part of Tibet that he is not originally from, and he's starting to beg for food. And he encounters, first of all, a couple, a young couple. Sorry, not a young couple, but a couple that have no children, and they want to adopt Milarepa. Yeah, they want to bring sort of Milarepa home and give him a house and find him a wife, and all the things. Yeah. And Milarepa, in his particular fashion, he decides that he doesn't need that, and he explains why. And so the way that we're going to be doing this tonight is I'm going to be reading some bits, and I'm going to stop I'm going to say a few things, and maybe we'll have a bit of time to reflect together. And at some point in the evening, we're going to have a tea break, as we usually do, and we're going to have the usual announcements and the Dan appeal. But yeah, the evening itself is a bit of, let's see what happens. I feel a bit like, this, every now and again, I have a bit of an opportunity to just be with my friends and explore something together that I don't quite know how it's going to shape, but it's interesting, to look at things together in this way. So the sun is divided by days. So we're going to be looking today. We're going to be looking at day 1, day 2, and day 3 in the sun. And next week we'll look at the rest. Next week is going to be a bit more what we traditionally do. So I'm going to give more of a talk, and then we'll have groups probably. So the sun starts like this. Then the Jetsun is a word that is a Tibetan word that is used to refer to Milarepa. Again went to the enlightenment fortress in Rakma. While he stayed there, the benefactors from before offered their service to him, and his practice flourished. I wanted to stop here, actually, first of all, because I really like this line, the benefactors from before. So the benefactors that he met at the beginning, when he arrived in this place, offered their service to him, and his practice flourished. So it's very, it would be very simple to overlook this sentence, but I think it's very important. It's right within the spirit of the Buddhist tradition. In Buddhist countries, you have a very clear division between lay and monastic. So you have two kinds of Sangha, basically. Those who can, leave behind the responsibilities of the world, and those who are sort of right in the world, working, having families, keeping society going in a way. So we don't do that in Triratna. In Triratna, we're trying to do something different. In Triratna, we say, or Sangharachita has said that going for refuge is primary and lifestyle is secondary, but important. Lifestyle is important, but it's secondary. So the common aspect for us is going for refuge. And I was having dinner tonight with Connor, Zach, and Sof, and we were talking about the opportunities that are here at the Nottingham Buddhist Center to participate of the Sangha. So a few nights ago, we have Gareth and a group of volunteers talking about their experience of offering their time and their energy to the Sangha. And I want to mention from that night in particular, I want to mention our good friend Jerry, whose mother passed away this evening. So we have put a candle at the feet of the Buddha for her. That was a explicit request from Jerry. Just keep her in mind. I'm going to mention her again later on when we are doing the meditation. And Jerry, that night, she talked about her experience of, particularly her experience of bringing together, her family life, being here with her son, and being able to give, to offer to something bigger than her. So what we're trying to create is quite unique, and yet it's still a bit undefinable. So this idea of the benefactors offering their service, is a bit like, you can think of the volunteers, the people that co-create this space, as Gita put it that night. You are benefactors, benefactors to create something. So you are giving your service, your time, your energy to create something that is quite unique. And I really like when we come together, either physically, like, how many we are here? So we are 7, 8 people here in the shrine room, and those of you online. We come together every Wednesday night or there's a group of people connecting every Wednesday night, and we create a very particular atmosphere. Yeah? And that allows us for our practice to flourish. Yeah? So it's a bit like nourishment, yeah, for our practice. So just by coming together, we are nourishing each other. And we should cherish those opportunities. Yeah? They are unique, they are very, very particular, very special. Yeah? And I wanted to say also that, in Nottingham, there are a few of us who are supported by the Buddhist Center. Yeah? In my case, I'm fully supported, so I have what we call a support package. But it's important to distinguish that support package is not a salary. Yeah? So I'm not, strictly speaking, I'm not employed by the Nottingham Buddhist Center. Yeah? So I'm supported by the Nottingham Buddhist Center, or enabled by the Nottingham Buddhist Center to be able to do whatever we're doing here. This process, which is sometimes is a bit undefinable. Yeah? And like me, Kusala Devi, Gareth, other people. And that's very important, because what I want to stress here is that Sangha is responsibility of all of us. Yeah? We all have something to look after, yeah, in terms of the Sangha. We are very lucky here in the UK, but there are centers around the world that are supported just by the goodwill of people, coming and keeping things alive over and over again. I can think of the Mérida Buddhist Center in my hometown in Venezuela, that has been kept alive by a group of volunteers, just doing it over and over again. We have groups in Istanbul, in Moscow, where people are just participating in something just out of their goodwill. So that's very important. That's really very important. And like that, there are people that have been doing that, like Chantika, that is connected tonight, that has been giving a lot to the Buddhist Center over the years. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. It's a little line that can be missed when you read this. One day, two young cowherds came and met the Jetson. The younger one of them said, "Doesn't the Lama have any companions staying with him?" And this thing is very important as well, this question, because like before, I say a moment ago, there was a couple that wanted to adopt Milarepa. Yeah, they were concerned that Milarepa was on his own, that he wasn't married, he didn't have a estate, he didn't have a property. Yeah. So these cowherds also, they are a bit concerned that Milarepa is on his own. They are curious why this man is on his own. Yeah. And sometimes with the spiritual life, we need to ponder the value of solitude. Yeah. And I wanted to stop here as well, because I just mentioned a moment ago this co-creation, this collective co-creation. Yeah. But I think it's a very common experience for many of us to feel lonely, yeah, especially in our modern world. Yeah. Loneliness is an issue. Yeah. For many people, millions of people actually around the world. Yeah. So how we deal with loneliness, yeah. Even when we are with others, even when we are with our partners, with our families, we can feel very deeply lonely. Yeah. And Milarepa chooses a lifestyle where he was on his own most of the time. Yeah. And I find very interesting the conversation that follows, after the question. Milarepa replies, "I have a companion." Yeah. And then the cowherd says, "Oh, then what is his name?" Yeah. "My companion's name is Bodhicitta." That's the reply of Milarepa. So Bodhicitta, what he means by that, Bodhicitta, you can say that Bodhicitta is just an awakened heart, a heart fully awakened. Or a mind fully awakened. In the Buddhist tradition, we don't distinguish between the mind and the heart. They are the same. So if you haven't heard this word before, bodhicitta, that's a very important word that we use many times in our tradition. So, and that's an interesting transition. It's not, Milarepa doesn't feel lonely. Yeah. At this point in his career, earlier on in his career, he experienced loneliness. Yeah. There are many records of Milarepa missing his teacher, Marpa, and his wife, and his other, the other disciples of Marpa. And he usually starts his songs at the beginning, especially of his career, longing to see them again. I have experienced that, homesickness, being so far away from Venezuela. I experienced that very badly, especially in the first 3 years of living in the UK. But I'm sure that that's not foreign for most of you. Maybe not homesickness, but that kind of longing for something, something that you belong to. Yeah. Maybe your family, maybe your partner, your children. Yeah. So we can think in terms of, there's a bit of a transition that needs to happen before we are able to fully enjoy solitude. That has to do with aloneness. Yeah. Aloneness. Just being able to dwell in our aloneness, to accept our aloneness. Yeah. There is something very, very unique and individual about our lives, that we cannot share with others. Yeah. And that's where we are going to get, with this exploration that we're doing tonight. So he says, my companion's name is Bodhicitta. Then the boy asks, then where is his friend now? Yeah. So he's talking about somebody. Where is his friend now? Right now, my companion is in the house of the all-base consciousness. Milarepa replied, the all-base consciousness. Yeah. What is he talking about? And the boy replies, where is this house of the all-base consciousness? It is right within my body. Yeah. So the elder one, so far it's just the young one talking to Milarepa. So the elder one thinks, oh, this is just rubbish. Yeah. And he says, Guru, you are not someone we should take refuge in. We will go. Yeah. So he just wants to live now. Yeah. Just didn't understand what Milarepa say. He just wants to live. Yeah. But the young one says, is the all-base consciousness the mind? Is this body the mind's house? Yeah. So he's already onto something, the boy. And Milarepa just replies very, very sort of straightforward, yes, it is. So the boy asks a very good question. Yeah. In a person's house, one person can be inside, or many people can be inside. Within the body, is there one mind, or are there many minds? How many are there? And what are they like? He's a clever boy. He has a very clever, sort of a sharp sense of what is, the metaphor that Milarepa is using. And this metaphor of the body as a house, or existence itself as a house, is used quite a bit in the Buddhist tradition. The Buddha himself talked about rebirth as building a house. Yeah. And there's a very famous song, like Milarepa, the Buddha himself, he used to sing. Yeah. He used to utter teachings, in a sort of a verse way. It's a very beautiful. Well, there are two compilations of verses or teachings from the Buddha, very early teachings. One is the Dhammapada, probably most of you have heard of, and the other is Deudana. Yeah, Deudana is particularly beautiful because it's in verse. But there is a song in both of them, which is the Song of Victory, which is according to the tradition, is a song that Siddhartha or Gautama sang, in the moment that he became the Buddha. Yeah. And what he says is that basically the main line of that song is very beautiful. I recommend you to look at it. He says, I have destroyed the central column. I can see you house builder. You are not going to be able to build this house again. So it's the same metaphor that Milarepa is evoking here. And Milarepa replied to the boy, so just to recap a bit, he's asking, in a person's house, one person can be inside or many people can be inside. Within the body, is there one mind or are there many minds? How many are there and what are they like? Yeah. And Milarepa replies, as to whether there is one mind or many, you should look and see for yourself. Yeah. And the boy says, very well, and he goes. Yeah. So that's the end of day one, and this is where I want to pause now. So let's explore that question. Yeah. What is your experience? Is there one mind or many minds? Yeah. So I think the way that we're going to do this now is we're going to take a few minutes, maybe 6 to 8 minutes. There's a bit of paper here and some pencils and pens. And you at home, I recommend you to grab something, maybe a notebook or piece of paper. And to begin with, let's just sit comfortably. You don't need to sit in meditation, but if that helps, sit to meditate. We're going just to close our eyes for a few minutes and just ponder. Yeah, get set up. So as I said before, you don't need to sit for meditation, but just sit comfortable. We're going to close our eyes for a couple of minutes. So whenever you're ready, those of you here in the shrine room and those of you at home, just close your eyes and take 1 or 2 deep breaths. And just open your heart and your mind to the experience of the present moment. Noticing, first of all, the thoughts, mental activity. What phrases, what pulls are you experiencing right now? Are you feeling curious? Are you feeling resistance? Are you feeling bored? How much of you really wants to be here tonight? What other sides of you would like to do something else? And if you go back a few hours ago, can you recollect the pulls, the desires, the longings that you were dwelling on? What was keeping you busy today? Was it just one thing? How many different threads of experience you went through throughout the day today? After the bell, open your eyes and take a moment or two to write down whatever has come from this reflection. So again, if it's not clear, what we want to record right now is if you have experienced, whatever you have experienced, any impulses, any pulls, any desires, that you can clearly identify from today. Okay. Looks like everybody here in the shrine at least found something. So what we're going to be doing now is here in the shrine we're going to pair up. And Mandy, if you can online put people in threes. I don't know how many people are connected online, but if that works, maybe, I don't know how to divide it, but yeah. So we're going to have about 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes in small groups. So you can just share your experience of this first part of the evening so far. Then we'll come back, we'll do something here with the sort of traditional structure of the evening, and then we'll go into a tea break. Is that clear? Any questions?
Fine, Aryabhachan. Yeah, got all that. About 5 or 6 minutes, yeah?
Okay, let's do that. So if you pair up, is that you tonight?